Hi, and welcome to the Team CPNZ Quick Connect podcast, where you can stay informed, keep connected, and learn from one another along the way as well. I'm your team captain, Richard Greer, and on today's podcast, I have the pleasure to chat with Nat Gallant. Nat's a physio based in Blenheim as part of our performance network and which is a trusted group of providers that we refer our athletes to. She wears a superhero cape in her day job to keep athletes in one piece and moving forward, but also must be said that she often wears it in the weekend as well while out adventuring in the hills, which is why we're talking to her today. She was one of the group that travelled with myself and the crew last September to China. And in February, she's teamed up with Jake Vargo to win the Tandem team section in the Coast to Coast. And just in the weekend, she completed the Hillary challenge, which basically meant that after work on a Friday, she got on a bike in Blenheim and rode south to the Kaikoura Ranges, climbed Mt Tapu, which is the highest peak in the Kaikoura Ranges. Think when you're sitting in Kaikoura eating your pie, the Kaikoura mountains are pretty big. And then rode a bike home on Sunday to be ready for work on Monday. And she did it all solo as well. So that's sort of one of the reasons why we're going to have a chat to Nat today. So hopefully you enjoy that chat that's coming up shortly. But before we get to Nat, a few things on the cards. Our Adventure Squad, I've been talking about this over the last few weeks quite a lot. And the reason why I've been talking about it quite a lot, it's lots of fun and a chance to kind of catch up with lots of people and share an adventure and mission in the hills. We've got Ben coming over from Sydney to join us. We've got a few coming down from the North Island and driving up from the south as well. So think about it like an event. We're back for sort of tea time. So whether you have to put the kids in bed or jump on a plane to head home again, ready for work on Monday, that's part of the gist as well. So May the 4th, 8th of June, Sunday, 20th of July. If you can only work rosters to note that you can only make it to one or two of them, let us know and we'll see what we can work out there as well. So that's coming up. As daylight savings is coming around the corner, we had our last Wednesday bike group for those that are local into Christchurch here, and but that also means that our Wednesday evening Zwift sessions will kick off as well in a couple of weeks' time. So, which is a different group of people, and also means that sort of can connect to a bunch of different athletes that are in different places rather than just local to Christchurch, which is pretty cool. Our local run groups are going to keep rolling on with Oscar in the front runner and Jacob and the crew on Tuesday and Thursday as well. So lots going on, lots of events happening with the Kaikoura Adventure Race, Christchurch Marathon coming up, Mackenzie in a couple of weeks' time, which I'm going to try and change some running legs to biking legs all of a sudden, and La Races this weekend as well. So she's all on. So we're pretty fired up about all things endurance and adventure. So let's have a chat to Nat. Nat, how you doing?
Hey, yeah, good, thank you. I left my cape at home today.
Did you? Oh, fantastic. That's awesome. How's the body feeling after the weekend that just was? It was a few days ago now.
Yeah, no, it feels really good, actually. I think normally it's, my only fear is doing a weekend like that is Monday afternoon at work. And because of my brain and my brain just getting tired, but body is absolutely fine. And I've survived this week really well.
Okay, good job. So maybe that's a point for future, is that if you're going to book in to see Nat, maybe go for Tuesday or Monday morning, but try not for a Monday afternoon. I'm sure the standards are still kept high. But it was really interesting, actually, when you mentioned this a few weeks ago, that this is what you're going to do, because I was just talking about sort of doing a Hillary with someone else that was based in North Canterbury and didn't have a vehicle, and they wanted to climb some of the Canterbury foothills, Mount Grey, Mount Thomas type thing. And we said, well, why don't you just bike there and climb it and bike home again? Let's make that a real adventure. And then a few days later, you come up with like the official Hillary, what Edmund Hillary actually did back in the old days of rode his bike from Blenheim when he was in the Air Force, and then rode home again after climbing the highest peak in the Kaikoura Ranges. How long has this been on the radar for you, Nat?
Oh, a little while. I tried to do it last year, but I don't think we had the weather window to do it.
Yep.
Or when it landed on a weekend, yeah, the weather was just a bit poos. But I've heard that Sir Ed had a motorbike and then he broke down halfway down the valley, so had to walk from, halfway down the Aratiri rather than cycle. There's a few different stories, so I'm not. There's something really nice.
Did he do it more than once?
Doing a foot route.
Yeah, did he do it more than once, or did he just Did you do it once or more than once? Do you know?
Well, maybe he did it more than once. I feel he rode a bike, but then you Google it and a few people have said he was on a motorbike.
Okay.
And he didn't go up the Hodder River. He went up Tom Spur, a bit gnarlier route. So maybe that can be my take two, Hillary.
Yes, and he was probably in winter as well, or something like that as well, was he? What was that about?
I don't know the time of year.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
okay.
Yeah. That's upscaling it. That'll be pretty chilly to get up the Awatere.
Yeah, that's a whole other level again. Yeah. So how was it? Like, it's a long way. So talk us through it. How long did it take on your bike at what time of the day did you leave? What time did you finish work? What did you have for lunch to make sure you actually had something in the to fuel the fire? Talk us through some details.
Well, I worked Friday morning, and it was kind of, as the week went on, I was like, okay, I'm doing this. The weather's looking good. So it all became a bit of a rush on Thursday to go and grab some bike packing stuff from a friend and then fix it all up on my bike. I think late Thursday night or early Friday morning. And then, Friday afternoon, set off about 3:00. Okay. Scramble to get everything ready. It's like, I'm doing this, go for it. Yep. And then Taylor Pass, the first pass you have to get over to drop into the Awatere, it was closed for logging and it wouldn't open until 5:00. But I took a gamble. I'm like, it's Friday afternoon. Surely people are going to clock off early. Yeah, and by the time, if I'm leaving at 3, I'll probably hit it 3:30, 4:00. They would have gone home. So I played that well. Otherwise, it would have been an extra 15 Ks on the Redwood Pass.
Okay, good.
So got over it and then forgot how much vert you had to go up down the Awatere Valley. There's a lot, over 1,000 meters of vert to get to Gladstone Downs.
Is it lumpy or is it like just a grind? I'm just kind of going uphill here.
Oh no, it's just a grind. It's a nice smooth tarmac road, and then maybe 30 Ks down it turns to gravel. Yeah. But it's well driven gravel, so it's not bad. It's just up and down and a wee bit of a grind, and there's no water between here and Gladstone unless I go knocking on a farmer's door.
Okay. So which bike were you riding? Your mountain bike, or what did you have to ride?
Yeah, cross-country bike. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. And how long did it take to get there? What time of the day did you arrive?
Like 7:30 at night.
Okay, right. Yeah. So we're still in daylight savings. So you still got some daylight. That's good. And did you put your tent up, or what'd you do?
I just borrowed a bivvy actually, and it's the first time I've ever been in a bivvy, which I've wanted to for a long time. So that was part of it as well. That I'm going to do a mission, and I'm going to feel a little naked in how I do it.
Yeah.
There's something different about having walls around you versus just getting yourself in a little bivvy bag.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go as minimal as possible because as soon as you put any weight on a bike, geez, it slows you down.
Yeah, big time. So you were there with the view of, I'm going to get there a reasonable time, I'll have a sleep and then get up early. Was that the job, to get up and down on Saturday? Yeah.
Tucked up in the bivvy, and then a blood moon rose from behind the mountain, which I had no idea that was going to happen. And that just felt super special. And then there was a total eclipse of the moon.
Yes, cool.
And didn't get much sleep because there was a giant light bulb up in the sky. It was beautiful. And then the aim was just to really enjoy Tapu, because I've kind of done it in a rush before and not had that much chance to take it all in. So just wait on my back and go up. So I got up to the top maybe 5:00, had a chat to a few people at the hut on the way up. And then, there's nowhere to bivvy or anything like that at the top, and it's frowned upon anyway. So came down, but maybe not all the way down to the hut. And again, it was beautiful, like sleeping under 1,000 stars. It was 1,000,000 stars. It was quite special.
So how long did it take you to get to the top of the hill? That's a serious climb. And how much climbing is it? What did you start and what did you finish at? How high is Tapu Nuka?
Tapu is 2,885 meters.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I would have started at. I did 1,000 plus to get there, but I didn't start at that.
Yes. Maybe I need to look at your Strava while we're talking. I'll give you some stats shortly.
Yeah, collectively over the course of the weekend. So my watch died on the way down. So I kind of added 100 meters of vert, but I swear there was a bit more. So in total, I did like 4,700 meters of vert over the weekend.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. So how long did it take? Sorry.
Left at 7:30ish, got to the top 5, and then dropped down for a couple of hours. So I think I was going 12 hours up and down before I threw my kit down to go sleep again.
Yeah, cool. So that was always going to be the plan, is that you were going to bivvy somewhere on the side of the hill. Is that the case? Just because it's a heck of a long way up, and to get down in time would mean that you'd have to be in the dark somewhere along the way?
Yeah, look, I mean, I was just throwing myself under the bus by openly saying that I was bivvying, because it is it's preferred that you stay in the hut, but I completely trust myself that I'm not pooping in the stream or leaving litter anywhere or anything like that. So it's preferred to stay in the hut, but
well,
I just wanted that experience.
Yeah, that's right. And it's one of those things, I guess, as well. If you caught out due to weather, you're not necessarily going to be able to make it to a hut. So you've got to, like, the bivvy bag is good for you anyway, isn't it, to have with you, just from a safety perspective?
Totally, yeah. It was getting onto dusk, and it was probably another 45 minutes, hour down to the hut. So, chucked my stuff down and left early.
Yeah, good stuff. I've just looked on your Strava, and it was 2,500 vertical meters of climbing on Strava up to the top of the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. That's pretty honest. That's a pretty good go in one hit. Yeah, it is. You've done well. That's good. Righto. So, and what are you doing for food? Like, you've got to carry your food with you. Are you taking a cooker and some D-high meals? What are you going with, or quiche from the bakery on the way out of Blenheim? What's happening?
There was no bakery between my house and Gladstone Downs. There was a butcher, but I wasn't going to cook up some raw meat on my little cooker. I had Radix D-high food because it's just light. I had what was in the cupboard, basically. Again, it was a rush job, and I'm like, right, I'm doing this, I'm going. So I put peanut butter and cheese in a wrap and had that. Okay. Actually, that ended up being for breakfast the next morning because I didn't want to eat Radix. And weird combination for breakfast, but worked a treat.
Yeah, it would definitely fill you up and stick to your sides, I would imagine. Cheese and peanut butter in a wrap.
Yeah, well, I was like, I need something vaguely wet in there. Not that, it was a good combo. You should try it.
Okay. Well, okay, yep.
And then I got to the hut and had a Radix and Radix for evening meal as well. It was just going basic here.
Just fuel me.
Yeah, and maybe a bar on the way up, and couple of worms or something.
As in sour worms, just to clarify.
Oh, not sour. Nah, I can't.
No, just okay.
But I
right,
had snakes, then I had snakes.
Snakes, okay, good. Right, sure.
Sorry, confusing my animals.
Yeah, good. And how are the legs feeling on the way down? Were you sort of trotting down, or were you sort of pretty happy to be there? How was the body going?
Pretty happy. Really? Coming off the top, you just.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry, there, Nat. We're just getting a lot of clicking coming in from your audio for some reason. Not sure. Maybe just disconnect your earphones. It's just clicking in and clicking out for some reason. If they're Bluetoothing, they're still clicking there now. Do they turn off automatically? Oh, I haven't got your tool now. There we go. Back again.
I can't hear you now.
Okay, I've got you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, right. So let's carry on like that. Not sure what happened there. So I was just asking, how are the legs feeling after climbing all that way and on all that downhill as well?
Well, I thought it would be a bit easier on the way downhill, but the kind of scree, it's quite worn down. It's not that soft stuff that you can pick up speed and just really go for it. So you have to pick the route the whole way down. It's kind of a bit of gravel on top of hard dirt. So you just slip straight over. So it's very laborious and tiring, and possibly messaged a friend off my PLB saying, God, I can't wait for midweek mojitos. I needed something else to think about because it was a long time out there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of down.
Yes, yeah, but the legs were all good. Just taking it all in. I wasn't in any particular rush, but I was conscious that I do need to get down in a decent time so that I can cycle back.
You've got a road bike ride to go yet. It's quite a duathlon you've got there, Nat. So tell me about your bike ride. I heard there was a bit of wind that went on for your bike ride on the way home.
Yeah. So it was fine pretty much the whole of the Awatere Valley. Mm-hmm. And then it was really hot, actually, and desperate for some water. So there's a little campground at the end of the Awatere before you turn off to go over Taylor Pass.
Yep.
So figured there'd be a tap there. There wasn't. So just threw myself into the Awatere and then shot up the Taylor Pass. But as soon as you hit a little rise, the wind gusts were insane. And so the first wind gust halted me. The second wind gust slam dunks me into the floor. So I kind of entered a dark space quite quickly at that point.
Yeah, you would do. I was just thinking, I think I've seen a photo of you lying on the ground somewhere on your bike. Have I? Does that come up?
That was in the first, that's when I pulled off into the campground and then didn't realise it was thick sand and completely ground to halt and stacked it. So that was a fall that I could laugh at, and it was just kind of, that was dumb. Yeah. The next fall, didn't really laugh.
Right, so you got blown off your bike, did you?
Yeah, big time. It was ridiculous. So I was then hike a bike up over Taylor Pass, and but discovered that it's tree lined with apple trees. So I ate an apple at every tree, and then it cured my thirst, gave me some sugar, and got me home.
Okay, powered by apples to get you home. So that sort of helped G the team morale up to actually help you get home when the bottom lip was out, and I've probably had enough now, and I just want to be home.
It was a little bit, but I'm not letting the last 2 hours of an epic trip be spoiled by this. Like, don't let your brain go there. I knew I just needed some sugar, and then I was fine. But it was a grind to get home. The wind, even on the other side, when you start going downhill, you still had to keep pedaling and put the effort in.
To pedal down there, that is rough, isn't it? Will this be something that you do again? Is this something that the official Hillary's been done, but is this something that you'll line up and have another crack at somewhere else?
Yeah, no, I'd be keen to, but I genuinely don't know that I could beat that weekend, because it was so perfect in so many ways. Like clear skies, the stars, the blood moon, everything. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do it again, but probably with friends, like get a crew together.
Yeah. I was just about to say, how was it being solo out there? You've done a few solo missions, but this was a pretty big solo mission in terms of the whole weekend riding and then getting all the way up to the top of the hill and back again. Yeah,
and I had to conserve my battery for headphones, so I wasn't listening to too much music. Or I listened to a podcast and going up the Hodder for a little bit, but restricted myself on music. I saved it for the way back, so I was humming a few tunes going back down. Yeah, towards Blenheim.
Yes. Yeah. So any learnings that come out of this? Anything you do differently going forward, or advice for others?
Anything I'd do differently? Probably, try and if it's that hot again, leave a water stash for myself somewhere.
Oh, yep.
The wind before leaving. Yes. But, even if I'd known the wind, I still would have gone and done it.
Yeah.
It would only be that last section. Maybe took a beer in the hedge on the way back. So
yeah, good plan. Was there a cold beer in the fridge when you got to the end at home?
Yes, there was. There was a cold beer waiting for you on the doorstep. Yeah, Jamie had one ready.
Oh, how good. That's fantastic.
So it happened to be a Belgian beer where the percentage was really high, and I'm like, I cannot drink that.
This is not going to be good for me. Oh, well, at least you had a finish line banner. Like that was to finish this officially as an event, pretty much. You've done well.
Yeah. No, it was a super good weekend.
Yeah, fantastic. I need to ask the toast question. How toasted were you at the end of it? 1 being I'm burnt, 9 being I'm only just getting started.
Let's go 4. Like I was a little bit singed from sun and stacking it on the bike.
So that's that's your colour.
Actually, because he'd been hunting that day up on Black Birch, and I think he looked a bit more toasted than what I did.
Okay. Oh, good stuff. So he was sort of feet up on the lazy boy with beer in hand, and he had someone to join him for a moment.
Yeah, he's going to kick my ass for saying that.
Oh, that's good. I think we talked about this last week. No one listened to this podcast anyway, so you'll be fine. It'll be all good. So in terms of like, this was obviously a big mission that you did this just last weekend. There's lots of other adventures planned, but you've had a big summer, as I've mentioned, with Coast to Coast and things. But there was also your Nepal trip that you're about to do, which you should have been away about now, being somewhere up high in Nepal at altitude. But it got cancelled at the last minute.
Yeah. Super unfortunate, and just heartbroken for my buddy that going with. But we had to just cancel plans at the last minute because of a sort of a medical emergency in her family. So Nepal's not going anywhere. We just need to change dates, and it'll happen, but just not right now.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you about that as we go, sort of as you get to do that. But was this part of that sort of, I guess, let's go and do something in the mountains up high and do something hard to sort of, I don't know, fill a bit of a gap that I should have been doing something like this?
Yes, exactly. I don't think I'd had much chance since Coast to kind of get up some vert, and I was just super keen to get out on a good meaty adventure.
Good stuff. Yep,
the week before, I had been down in Wanaka. My hubby and mum-in-law had gone on a mini holiday. They were going to trip me out in Christchurch to fly to Nepal and then head on to Wanaka. So I just hopped on their holiday and did a wee run along the skyline and then down from Roy's Peak. And I actually got really bad quad DOMs, which I was surprised myself. I'm like, Coast to Coast has made me soft from the mountains. I'm kind of glad that I did that Roy's Peak thing to just sort the quads out so that they were ready for doing this.
And after Roy's, it wasn't just Roy's Peak. You also did another mission a day or two later.
Let my legs recover a little bit from that, and then cycled into Mount Aspiring Hut and went up to Cascade Saddle, which been on the radar to do for a long time. And again, beautiful weather, so shot up there, and it's stunning.
How good.
I was quite amused at the top because someone was these two kind of tourists were asking, like, what is this Cascade Saddle? There's no sign. I'm like, well, you don't actually go over Cascade Saddle, and there's not going to be a sign. They're like, there's normally signs for these things. I'm like, there's not everything in New Zealand is signposted, especially in the backcountry.
Yeah, that's awesome. But you mentioned that sort of got your mojo back, getting up and over up to Cascade Saddle and back down again.
Oh, big time! Yeah. I love training for Coast, and I know that Goat Pass is a really chunky mountain to get over, but it's not quite. The backcountry mountain stuff where you can kind of have your own adventure, and I do miss that in training for Coast a little bit. I still sneak it in, but probably over Christmas time's the last real chance you get to do something, and then it's into speed stuff. So it's been a while, and it was got my mojo back.
Yeah, nice just to have some time to do that. I actually again looked on your Strava, and it's really nice to see Nat Gallant's doing like 31 minutes per kilometre up the steep bit towards the end there. I was like, okay, right, she's pretty honest, is it? Yeah, really working to get up the hill.
Yeah, at the top of Tapi, it was kind of 4 footsteps because I had weight on my back. Maybe I had, 8 kgs or something, because I took water up too, thinking I might stay up there. And so I had some all right weight. And then I was doing 4 steps up and then breathing quite hard and then having to take a rest. I'm like, I don't know that I'm even at proper altitude, but I kind of feel altitude. Something is happening here.
Yeah. Why am I so bad? Like, I'm usually quite good, but I'm really shit right now. What's happening? I mean, altitude is anything like makes a physiological difference above like 1,300 meters. So you're at 2,800 meters. That's a significant jump from what your body's used to. So yeah, it's definitely going to make a difference. I often try and tell myself that when I'm, 1,500 meters or top of Mount Oxford, which is about 1,000. Like, wait, there must be this altitude thing going on. But you've got some actual altitude happening for you.
Yeah, well, it's a good eye opener for when we make it to Nepal, when some of the passes are going to be 5,000 meters. So it's quite surprising how it affects you.
Yeah, and just on the pool, just 5,000 you talked about, but what are you generally rolling at? Is it about 2,000-3,000 of most of the trail?
There's lots of high passes that you go up and down. So yeah, we potentially were planning on going a month too early for the snow to have melted off the Everest region, so we wouldn't have made it over the high, the Everest section. We would have had to drop down low, but even low is still pretty matey. But
what's low? Is it what's low? Is it like 2,000 meters? Like most of the trails?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, right. Yep. No, that's awesome. So on coast to coast, how was that? Like, that was a different experience. You've done longer stay before. This time around, you teamed up with Jake and were on a mission. And I don't know, longer stay. Maybe some of these missions can be sort of a dull ache type 2 fun, whereas this was more sharp, stabby pain type 2 fun. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I had a baptism of fire. I've learned how to race quite quickly in the race. Keeping up with Jake, it was awesome. I've got a good, diesel engine that I can push a bit of speed when I want to, but like the top end stuff, it was really cool to have that experience of, oh shit, this is what racing's really like.
This is really on. It's on here. Tell me about your start line. Tell us about what happened on the start line. So Jake's pretty cool customer. He'll sort of chat to anybody. He'll be all sweet. So then come along with me. But tell us about that start line.
Well, we look pretty cool in our matching Temu sunnies.
Was that planned?
Put in.
Were the Temu sunnies planned, or did that just happen?
They were planned.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. No, I have a pair of Temus because in the kayak, I don't care if I lose them. I don't want to lose my Oakleys.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, we walk up in looking pretty cool, and then Jake goes straight to the front of everyone, front line center, and I'm like, oh well, I've not done this before, so just follow him and just act confident.
Yep. Yeah. So normally you're kind of middle of the pack. It's all right. We'll get underway and that'll be fine.
I'll let the fasties go at the front, and I'll just linger a little bit.
But here we are.
Longest day, so position myself correctly. But straight in front center. It was good.
Full send, right? Let's own this. Let's back ourselves. So how did it go? How was your first run? How was your ride? How did your event unfold for you?
Great. We shot off from the start line at a speed that I knew I was not going to maintain
Yep.
Tried hard and then hit a bit of an incline. I'm like, oh yeah. So straight onto tow. We had a tow rope that Jake pulled me up the hill just to keep up as much speed as I could. And then dropped me off when we got to the top and just held it together to get onto the bike.
Yeah.
My fear was we were going to hop onto a bike bunch that was way too fast for what my abilities are. So probably Jake's strength is the bike, whereas it's probably my weakness out of everything. But we found a sweet bunch, and maybe one person went by on tow, and that for Jake was right full send. So he pulled out the dolly. I'm on.
We can't have this. Yeah.
So having practiced all of a couple of minutes the day prior, we were on tow at pretty good speeds. But kudos to him, he did such a good job. He was up there at the front with maintaining the speed of the bunch with me on and off tow the whole time when it was safe to.
Yeah.
And then we hit a hill at one point just as a huge bunch kind of caught us up and lost him in the mix a little bit. And I'm like, Jake, I'm losing you. And out of nowhere, this hand pushes me back towards him. And it's that just kind of shows how friendly and awesome Coast to Coast is, in that another random competitor just helped me back up towards him and said, you guys are working too well together to, let I watch you get dropped by him.
Yeah, that's awesome, isn't it? So good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you guys had a good run. Like, you were in the hurt locker when I saw you at the finish line in the fetal position for probably 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. But
Yeah.
but recover from that. That was all right. And then you were on steering and driving down the river, picking the lines and making sure that everything went to plan there.
Yeah, I gave Jake full permission to be a backseat driver, in that if he thought I needed to turn harder or whatever, he was allowed to shout. So again, we worked really well. My foot pedal broke twice. It kind of shot back, so I was pedaling with my tippy toe, and it was okay. I could manage to steer, but to get into the gorge and be like that, I think my body would have been a trash heap by the time we'd finished, just because I had to twist and reach so hard. So twice, the first time we fixed it, and then it happened again. So second time, kind of taped it up, blocked it so that it wouldn't slip. And then we watched a few tandem teams pass us, and that again was right, game on, full send, we're catching them.
Yeah.
And caught up. Caught them up by the time we got off the river, which was, great feeling.
Yeah, good job. And the final bike ride home, all in, and you guys you were pretty fizzed up when I saw you at the finish line.
Yeah, both of us a bit high as a kite. Well, Jake was exhausted. I work hard too, but when he's towing me, he's kudos. He'd put more effort in on that. So we'd circle in the bunch, but when I got to the front, there's no way that I could have been lead at the bunch maintaining that speed. So as soon as he was at the front and me behind, even if I wasn't on tow, I just kind of moved to the side with him and circle around.
Yep. Fantastic.
And I don't think if there'd been a couple of unicorns in the field next door, I wouldn't have seen them, because my eyes were just on his back wheel the whole time. Drafting so closely. I had no idea what was going on around me. Yep.
Yeah, good. Just in the focus, what you're doing, and we need to turn left here, turn right here. Let's go, Nat. As you got to the finish line, that's fantastic. And final question, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you work as a physio, and often I know as a coach, you sort of often have themes of things you end up talking about to multiple people, sort of thing. Have you got any themes or injuries or things that are going on injury-wise that you've sort of seemed to be seeing a bit more of lately? That and with that, also interested to know sort of how to deal with some of those issues that are coming up and coming across your physio bed.
Yeah, seen a couple of groin strains lately, so it's kind of soccer season.
Okay.
People getting into faster running speeds and change of direction. And so it's just figuring out what's been strained and what's tight, what needs a bit more strength work on it. And especially increasing your running speed, you get more drive from your hip flexors, and everything just works a lot harder around your hips. So lots of people forget to look at hip flexor strength and work it. So making sure that you're strong into the deep inner ranges of hip flexion. If you're going out for a Sunday cruise, you don't really get your knee lifting that high, but then you start sprinting and you're driving and you can strain hip flexors.
So how do you do that? What are some exercises around that? Asking for a friend. In other words, I could do with that myself. That's what
I'll get on the floor and show you one while I'm in the glute room.
Feels like you should.
Everyone, get a band. Let's just throw you down here on the floor.
Oh, here we go. This is live. That's good.
Right. So you can kind of assess. You can assess your hip flexor strength at the same time as work it. Can you lay on your back? Where can I put you without you just seeing my feet?
Yep.
Can you hug one knee into your chest?
Okay.
There you go. And can you keep that knee at your chest? If you're weak, you might drop. So you hug it in and hold it.
Yes.
And then you switch over, hug the other one. Now your turn.
I'd love to, but the studio is busy, let's say. And that's obviously quite a strong band that you've got there as well.
That's a decent resistance. Definitely start light and just see how it just gets a bit of ab work going as well if you're in that position.
Yeah, but a good exercise to do from a running perspective anyway, isn't it? Sort of lifting those hip flexors up. Like a lot of times we talk about mobility and stretching and opening your hips up, but not often the other side of it. Actually, let's get those hip flexors to do hip flexion and pull that thigh up to my chest.
Well, yeah, if you imagine running over goat pass, the amount of really high step ups that you do, you get into really big ranges of hip flexion. You need strength up in that position as well. So that's where that would come in handy. And then probably when you're sprinting, your back leg reaches out quite far behind you, and having good eccentric strength when you're working your muscle as you lengthen it. So that's kind of a way you can stretch it out and work it at the same time. Like stick your back foot on a Swiss ball in a lunge position. What have you got? A wheelie chair. Yo, there's another one. Foot on a wheelie chair. You can drop down into a split squat and come up into that position.
Okay, that's a good option. Yeah, I like it. So you're dragging that foot back and dragging the wheelie chair back with you as well. Yeah. So it's effort both on the way out and on the way in as well. Back in again. Good job. A bit of balance too. Yeah, that's probably a higher level exercise from when you first strain hip flexor and. But from a prehabby type perspective of make sure they stay strong, those exercises are perfect, aren't they? Yeah, totally. Especially getting back into your running. But checking adductors and everything else around that area too, seeing if something needs a bit of stretching. Yep, just like that. No, that's good. Well, we might need to talk to you more about that, but thank you so much for joining us today and sharing sort of what your Hillary was about, why you did it, and hopefully that maybe ignites a few ideas for others to maybe ride to the bottom of a hill, climb the hill and ride home again. That's we can do that anywhere, but obviously you've done the Hillary weekend, haven't you, by getting down to the Kaikoura ranges and going up and down that, which is pretty cool. But well done on your coast to coast, and all the best for, I guess, reorganizing plans for Nepal when they come up as well. And thank you very much for the physio strength advice at the same time. It's been very useful for me. All good. Good stuff, Nat. Hey, thank you so much, and all the best for everyone for their weekend, and we'll catch up soon. Over and out.